Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Ericson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about the October 2nd and the October 16th City Council meetings. Thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
October is already here. We've already passed Fire Prevention Week, and as usual, we had the Fire Prevention open houses.
We did. Oh, they were a great weekend. All three fire stations were open. It was a little bit cool and windy, but great turnouts. I got to Fire Station 3 early, and it wasn't that many people there, and then all of a sudden it just filled up. Yeah. By the time I just made one little half a loop, all of a sudden it was just lots of kids, lots of adults, and it's a great event.
Yeah, and they have different demonstrations at each fire station. I know they have the helicopter that lands at one. They have the cooking fire with the
cooking
flames. It's pretty cool.
Always popular when they have the kitchen oil fire.
Yeah, and I hear they have those hoses again, kind of spraying people.
They had the hoses out there. Well, they have the little pretend house with the little flapping windows. Yeah. Put that fire out, and the kids really enjoy that.
Yeah.
My only comment was. Yeah. Station 3 and Station 2, all of the hose events were downwind. It was very windy. But at Station 1, they were upwind, and you could just feel this cold mist coming over you.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be grateful it's not snow, right? Just kind of getting you ready for the changing seasons here.
It feels suddenly like it's fall.
Yeah.
But it was so bleak there for the no sun and all that rain, which I'm sure we needed the rain, but it was getting old.
The sun has helped tremendously.
Yep.
So let's hope for more of that here in the coming weeks, even though November is apparently the cloudiest month of the year. So we have that to look forward to, yes.
Wow, aren't you just a wealth of knowledge today?
Not knowledge that I want to know, because October's already felt like the cloudiest month on Earth.
Cliff Clavin here.
All right. Well, we'll move into things here and start talking about our October 16th council meeting. One of the first items there we wanted to talk about was council adopting a resolution accepting the donations. This was for the Coon Rapids Love My Pet Fair, which happens in September.
Right. It's become a very popular event. It's hosted down at Riverview Park. It involved, I think it was like 50-some staff, and there was 600 participants and all kinds of vendors set up. And there's a photo booth, and there's the parade, and there's the stage with all kinds of different pet-oriented acts. The canine comes down there and does a canine demonstration. It's just a great event. And it was another day. The weather was nice and good turnout. The Central, I think it's the Central Little League, Cardinal Little League now, sells food and refreshments, and just a very nice event.
All right, so we had quite a few different donations, so council wanted to recognize those folks that had given to that event.
We did, and if I could. I wish I could just pull it up here. What item?
This was item number 6 on the 16th. I
Thank
show about,
you.
I don't know, about 16 different donors, and then there's
so there were
several different partners.
Yep, 16 sponsors, and then 4 different partners on it. And everything from fundraising items to pizzas for the volunteer lunch, gift cards, fabric, coffee for volunteers. There were several individuals, and then Chanticleer Pizza, Chuck and Don's, the Cub Northdale and the Cub Riverdale, Dunn Brothers Coffee, Home Furniture, Home Depot, Nationwide Insurance, Nothing But Bunt Cakes, Nutrisource, Pet Foods, Devani's, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers was there. They hadn't even had their grand opening yet, and they were out there. And then the partners, Animal Humane Society, Coon Creek Watershed District, and Barbara Gislason, attorney, and then V-Touch. I'm not sure who that is.
All right, and we had S.R. Harris with some fabric for the tug toys. So as we can see, lots of different folks to make this event a success. And if you haven't been out there, you can check it out. We did a spotlight on it, actually. You can check that out on our CTN YouTube channel and see what it's all about. Yeah,
the Sheriff's Department, I think it's the Sheriff's Department that has the trailer for in case of an emergency to deal with pets. It's just some neat stuff out there.
All right. Council authorized application for an Anoka County Business and School Recycling Grant.
Yeah, this is the one that actually was up at Bunker Hills Event Center, correct?
Yes.
I hope, yes.
Yep.
So back in 2015, Bunker Hills received a $10,000 grant for organic recycling, and that was for the waste containers and a baler. And then apparently the containers have worn out because they didn't have wheeled dollies. Mm-hmm. So now we're requesting a grant to buy new and additional containers and the dollies for moving them around so they don't get wrecked. But it's just a very successful program up there for the organic recycling.
Okay, and I know we've extended that around last year. I believe they did that again also in the Civic Center. So these grants are making that possible.
Well, that, and then we've got all the McDonald's in town are doing it on their own.
Yeah.
The organic recycling. So it's a really cool thing. It doesn't. It really. I don't know if it has a significant impact, but it has an impact, and it's going the right direction.
Yeah, every little bit certainly helps.
Yep.
All right, Council introduced an ordinance revising fees for 2019. Are we already talking about next year?
Well, it's already, like you mentioned, it's almost November.
Yes.
So we had to look at all of the 2019 fees. Mm-hmm. This was just an introduction. So if anybody has any strong opinions, we ask them to reach out to staff or council and talk to them. Most of the fees stayed pretty static. They did a very big study. They went out to the other communities, tried to make sure that we were in the ballpark of the right amount. Fees have to be justified. You can't make money on your fees. It has to be, the amount of work has to validate the amount of the fees. So most of the fees stayed pretty much the same. There was some kind of cleaning up, making some residential development fee went down $165 to become $750, and the commercial development fee through planning went up $165 or something, or $260, so that they're both $750 now. They're trying to make some things make sense, like the tavern license with dancing was $600 and some dollars, mm-hmm. and we made it $300 because it seemed like it should be the same as a bottle shop with dancing. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of fixing a lot of the fees that kind of started on their own, and now we're just trying to make some consistency.
All right. So there's things like that, but most of these are also cost of living that gets looked at each year, right. And then where there's differences, if our rate is falling behind maybe another community, we'll make some of those adjustments. Yeah.
And most of them was like the 2.75% cost of living, and and if it doesn't round up to the next $5, then they don't move the fee. So.
Okay. All right. So that will come back to council for final adoption. Likely in November
7th, I think it is. Whatever that first meeting is in November.
On Wednesday, yes.
Yep.
All right. Council considered a memorandum of understanding for Anoka County Economic Development Initiative. There was quite a bit of discussion on this.
Yeah. So a year or two ago, Connexus Energy partnered with Anoka County and the Metro North Chamber of Commerce, and they wanted to take a broad look at Anoka County development, economic development. You've got 21 cities in a township, and you're trying to attract economic development businesses to the county, and a lot of the smaller towns don't have the wherewithal to have an economic development department. Yeah. So the study was hired. They hired Addy Consulting to do the study, and they worked with like Matt Brown from the city of Coon Rapids and Columbia Heights, several communities, big partnership, put together this big study, did the SWOT analysis of Anoka County, what are our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and it gave us a roadmap. Yeah. So now we've officially set up what the executive committee will look like, what the structure will be of the meetings, and then there's a voluntary contribution that we've agreed to that'll come out of HRA. It's based on population. Mm-hmm. Coon Rapids contribution somewhere around $3,500. Matt Brown, our community development specialist. Yeah. Thank you. We'll serve on the executive committee for at least 2 years, if not 4 years. Yeah. And it's just all about trying to make Anoka County an attractor, a magnet of businesses, and because if you bring good employment in. We've already got a lot of really good employment. If we bring more in, you've got more people that want to come and live here.
Okay. So does this tie in at all to the Open to Business program? I think the county has one and the city has one as well.
It's related, but it's separate.
Okay.
It's separate. They're both designed to help businesses.
Yeah.
One is really trying to attract businesses holistically to the Anoka County region.
Okay. There's been a big push lately, it seems, and I've read a number of stories kind of from the county's perspective about trying to attract folks and talk about Anoka County and what's going on here.
Yeah, and it really works well for us because we've worked hard trying to bring businesses and opportunities into Coon Rapids, and now we've got the county partnering with us, or everybody's working together to bring them into the region. So it's good.
All right. That is all we have from our October 16th council meeting. I want to jump back to our first meeting of the month, which took place on October 2nd. One of the first items there was swearing in of a new police officer.
We always love that.
Yeah.
The Meng Yang is our newest law enforcement officer, and I believe he was a community service officer here for a while. Just a great young man, and my wife and I happened to run into him at a Subway in town here, and she went, "That's who you want." So, just a genuine smile, just real warm, and I think he's just going to do a great job here. Yeah. So his wife and his daughter were here, and his family and a lot of the friends, and that's great.
His wife pinned on his badge, and he served 3 tours of duty overseas as part of the guard here in the state. So we appreciate his sacrifice, and it's great to have him on the police force.
Absolutely. Nice summation there.
All right. Council adopted a resolution awarding a contract for the Riverwind building package. I feel like we've talked about this a lot, and we're kind of getting to the point of some development here.
It's moving forward. If you drive by Riverwind, I mean, there's already been all kinds of construction behind it from the park. And now the work has started on the building. You can see where they're getting ready to put another little entryway around the west door to the west meeting room. A lot of the landscaping has been coming out, the trees. I think it's going to be really nice when it's done. It's a really well-used meeting space, and now with new amenities, with new HVAC, it's actually going to be attractive to be there in the summer because it'll be air conditioned, and it's going to be nice.
All right, and they're getting to work, you said, right away on that.
Yes, and it's everything basically the entryway and west. Okay. The whole outside of the building will be freshened up. The landscaping all the way around, it'll be all new roof. But the cold storage on the east side, we're not doing anything with that yet. That'll just continue to be cold storage for things.
All right. So this will allow meeting space to still be at the park, restroom facilities for the improvements at the park. Right. And they'll tie that all together with the park as well.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And we were because there's going to be the new pickleball courts there, you really have to have brick and mortar restrooms there. And so that sort of caused us to really relook at this building because it's already there. Yeah. So let's just figure out how the bathrooms and that will work with the park. And
all right. And it sounded like it came in under budget or close to?
It, which one? Which budget? There's been so many different numbers that have come in on this. Yeah. All of a sudden the decision was almost made to just tear the building down because it was going to be like $800,000. Right. You're going, oh, what? Yeah. So now I don't recall what the number was. I thought it was 300,000 or 380 or something.
Sounds about right. Right around the 300,000.
Yeah, but we can't build a building for that, and especially not that many square feet. And there's some folks in town that feel a little bit of a historic perspective with the building. So I think it's a win-win.
All right. Well, we'll look to see that when it's all complete and improved. And it hadn't been for the Riverwind building and our police officer swearing in, we would not have much of a meeting because that's about all we have to talk about from our first meeting in October.
That was it.
Want to talk about quickly or not quickly, because we still have actually a lot of time. Hanson Boulevard. I know we've been mentioning this to folks over the long MEA weekend here. They're actually doing a full closure by the railroad tracks in preparation for kind of the big project they're doing there.
Yeah, so this is a 2-year construction project. The first year, this year, we've had a lot of inconvenience, but it's been open. 1 lane each direction, kind of that little chicane movement to get over the tracks. We've got a full closure over MEA weekend from October 17th to October 21st, I believe. Yep. So it's scheduled to be reopened on October 22nd. And then when it reopens, it will be open, it's supposed to be open 2 lanes north and 2 lanes south, all paved. And then it will stay like that until next spring when they shut it down and build a bridge or build a grade separation there. This year has been, a lot of folks are commenting that it doesn't seem like they're doing anything. Well, there's been private employers, all kinds of private contractors moving utilities. And now over MEA, now it's when the municipal utilities are getting moved, the city sewer and water. So it's been a lot of piecemeal, and the contractor over the last few weeks has really been working on it. I mean, you can just, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, we got all those other utility companies out of the way, we're going for it. Yeah. So they've been chunking up concrete and doing all kinds of work on it. So.
All right. Well, I think people will be happy not to have to do the zigzag during the winter with the snow and ice that we currently do. So that'll be nice that that's back open.
It'll be nice, but you know what? It's been nice to have it open. I mean, that's a road that averages 12,500 cars a day. Yeah. So if you shut that down when it doesn't really have to be shut down, even if it's 1 lane and it's inconvenient, I would rather have that than not at all. You know, because you rip the Band-Aid off and shut it down. Now you've got all these cars going over to Crooked Lake and Egret, and
especially if it was a two-year thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're going to have that next year. Yeah. There's no point in having it when you don't have to.
All right. Well, we'll enjoy the winter months when it's back open, and then prepare for the spring and the summer of next year. But again, this time next year, they're saying it'll all be complete. The bridge will be there, and we won't be waiting for those trains anymore.
No, and it is so frustrating when all of a sudden. I just the other day I was going south and I watched an ambulance, an EMT coming north, get stuck at the tracks, and you're thinking, tick tock, you know what emergency are they going to? This is this person laying on the floor dying? It's really going to be nice to have that. They'll be able to count on it, just like Round Lake Boulevard and just like Coon Rapids Boulevard over the tracks. They don't have to worry about getting stopped by a train. They just go.
Yeah, like you said, seconds count in an emergency like that.
Yeah.
All right. I want to also talk about a big thing coming up here, Port Riverwalk. There's going to be another open house here on that housing project.
Yes, I believe it's Wednesday, October 24th from 5 to 7 in the Civic Center. And it'll be an opportunity to come in and look and see how things are laying out. Centra Homes is planning on building in excess of 140 detached townhomes. We're fortunate; they're a Coon Rapids company, and they build a nice home. Seem to be a real quality builder, and everybody's anxious to get something going down there.
Again, another one of these things we feel like we've been talking about for a long time. If folks aren't familiar, that's the area down by Avocet Street and Coon Rapids Boulevard that is kind of vacant at this point.
Well, I think that this project started like in 2003 or something. Yeah. I mean, it was. I don't remember what year, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah. And then of course we talked about we had the crash of the housing market and all that as the project was about to take off, and that kind of stalled everything.
Yeah, it did.
It sounds like though hopefully by spring of next year is when they would start construction on these homes.
Right. Yeah. I don't recall how long they figured it would take them to build it out. But it's just going to be great to have something going, a project down there where you can see what it's going to look like, and add some rooftops down there and add some new residents.
All right. Well, speaking about another project that's actually going to get off the ground before that, we have the Riverdale Station Apartments, which is right next to the North Star Commuter Rail Station. They're breaking ground pretty much right now.
Yeah. Are they?
They said they were going at it. They were just going to have the official groundbreaking, I know, coming up here on October 25th.
Okay, yeah. So the afternoon of October 25th is the official groundbreaking for Riverdale
Station.
Riverdale Station Flats or something like that.
Yeah, apartments I've heard them called the Riverdale Station Apartments, but they could have another name too.
Yeah, I like apartments.
There you go.
I mean, I like that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sherman and Associates, and that looks like it's gonna be a very impressive program or a very impressive project. And then there's like 3,000 or 3,500 square feet of retail up in one corner that I would imagine will end up to be a coffee shop or something. I'm not sure.
All right. So some of these are market rate.
Predominantly market rate. I believe it's 80% market rate, 20% affordable, and the affordable. Nope, I'm going to stop because I don't. At one time the discussion was the 20% would be blended amongst them, and you wouldn't know which one were subsidized and which ones weren't. But I don't recall if that was the final product or not.
I'm not sure. I know there's 2 buildings as part of this, a larger one and then a smaller project. And then this is basically phase 1. They're hoping to develop a senior housing project in phase 2 in a couple years or a year or 2 down the line.
Right. Just immediately behind it on the rest of the property.
All right. So we should see work going on there anytime now as well. Moving along to, I want to mention the spooky skate. We're almost, Halloween's approaching here.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So Coon Rapids Ice Center is having their big spooky skate event on Sunday, the Sunday before Halloween, so October 28th, 5:30 to 7:30. Come in a costume, and it's like $5. Basically, let's just say $5, because it's like $1 less for students and $1 less for seniors, and
and I believe kids 5 and under are free with a paid adult.
With a paid adult.
So there's rules, but go out there. It sounds like it's a good time. You can dress up in costume, like you said. It sounds like there's games and lots of fun activities for the kids.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice event.
All right, and then the next big thing we want to talk about, rounding out here, is the election coming up. We're only a couple weeks away from the general election now, and absentee voting has been pretty busy, it sounds like.
Yeah, I thought she said 600 have voted absentee voting. And absentee voting will go through like the 29th, and then October 30th, you actually will be able to vote at City Hall and place your ballot into the voting machine. Right now it goes into the envelope, and then it gets fed later. So October 30th is when you can actually come in, fill out the ballot, feed it in the machine. And the Saturday before the election, so Saturday, November 3rd, Coon Rapids City Hall will be open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So you can come in on that day to vote. So you don't have to take Tuesday off work or whatever. But like I mentioned, last year, that Saturday was a very long line.
Yeah.
So don't come and expect to get in and out of here in a hurry. Make sure you bring something to read or something. Yeah,
lots of folks take advantage of that. Then the last day to vote absentee will be the Monday before the election, and I believe they're open until 5 that day. But that's like the cutoff. And then, of course, Tuesday, November 6th is the big election, and polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., I believe, at all the different precincts in the city. So if you don't know where to vote, you can check out the Secretary of State's website, enter your address there. It'll tell you where your polling location is on Election Day.
And almost everybody I know is looking forward to that election, so the ads stop.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yes, best time of year. We're really happy that you're not running any ads this time around. Because if you don't know, all 3 of our incumbents are running unopposed, so I haven't even seen a lot of signs. So
no,
at all, like in Coon Rapids.
No. There's really very few signs around town right now
for even the state rep races or any of those.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It'll be interesting. Of course, we'll have all the results and be presenting those as the election day progresses, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I think locally we have 1 county commissioner race on the ballot for the Coon Rapids. I think we have 2 commissioners that represent Coon Rapids, and one of them is on the ballot this year.
Yep, that's the District 7 seat, I believe.
And then, and then all of our House reps. Yeah, and I think we've got like 5 reps and 3 state senators that touch Coon Rapids.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to make a flow chart sometimes. Like, now wait, how many do we have in our city?
Yeah.
Because it's, we're a couple different districts. So.
Yeah. So, and I guess I imagine you'll be monitoring them here on CTN.
Yeah, we'll certainly bring the results. We're not actually doing full coverage on election night, but we'll let folks know. Online, of course, they present all. The Secretary of State's website has all that information for the state rep races. And again, with our council, the 3 that are up running unopposed.
Yeah.
Not a lot. We'd normally bring you in and be like, what's going on?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
We'll have to talk to you after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll have probably 5 or 6 windows of the Secretary of State's site open on my computer. Yeah.
Now we know who crashes the Secretary of State's website on some election nights. Sometimes we're like, it's not working. Where are the results? All right. Well, again, that's election night. And then our next meeting, council meeting, will actually be the day after election on Wednesday, November 7th, because we can't have a meeting while the polls are open.
Correct.
All right.
That works.
Anything else you want to add?
I don't know what it would be.
All right. We have 5 minutes left.
I think it's okay to end early, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
All right.
All right. Thanks for being here today, Jerry. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back here after our 2 meetings in November.